Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with In-Depth Podcast, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. Today, for episode 158, I want to focus on, which will be a two-parter. It's going to be Entrepreneur 101. It's something you should already know. If you don't know, that's okay. It is marketing is an investment. This is part one. Again, I'm doing part two. I want to break this up because I talked about in the last couple episodes, some pretty important stuff that I did at a high level, but I kind of want to break it down so you understand what it looks like for you, because marketing is an investment. It's not easy. It is hard, but it's okay for you to feel like this is a lot, because it is a lot. Let's just keep it real. But before I go any further, to my worldwide listeners, my fans, the folks that support me, thank you for rocking the show. If you are one of those that have already submitted a rating and review, thank you very much. I haven't seen anyone give me that 21st review. If you could, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. I want to get the reviews up. So if you have the opportunity to submit a review, if you're on iTunes, please do so. If there's a comment you want to leave on another platform, please do so. And if you're a first-time listener, you don't have to, but if you want to, I'm greatly appreciative. But if you don't feel like you need to do that, then you don't, because you don't need to. But I would appreciate it if you would. All right, let's get into the show, y'all, because I'm pretty excited about this topic. Over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about, and I really will say, starting with episode 150, when I went over like the 3 worst marketing first impressions you can go through. If you didn't listen to that one, go back and listen to it. But we are in a day and age where what we used to do just doesn't work. And so why I wanted to make this a part 1 and 2 series, because there's 2 things as an entrepreneur that a marketer needs to think in alignment as well. You're working on your business and you have to work in your business, okay? On and in. You have to work on and in your business. And that means you have to be very strategic and have the right efficacy to your time. So you got to get a return on your time working on the business and in the business. So when you are doing it correctly, it works. And so that first impression, if you're going out, and I on social media, someone was saying, so if I don't have a business card, that you're saying I'm ill prepared. Look, you have to find out what works best for you. So when you're working on your business and you are using outbound marketing, or maybe you're doing inbound marketing, you need to use the right methodology for you. So I showed you a little bit of how I go about using LinkedIn. Kent Lewis talked about it as well, how he went out, got a coach, and she talked to him about how to go out and get new contacts, because contacts lead to contracts, as Kent said a couple of years ago. But when I was talking about the marketing first impressions, if you go back one more episode to the marketing tangibility of things, we are in that day and age where, as an entrepreneur, you got to be able to put your product out there. And if you're in the marketing department, you know that value proposition has to be sampled in some sort of way where folks need to see it, because you can only brand for so long without getting a sale. You got to pay your bills too. So when it comes to how you are getting results, you have to look at the investments, okay? So what investments are you putting on your business, and what investments are you putting in your business? So when I was thinking about, I put out the episode, Pick My Brain, and no one has reached out, which is okay. You don't have to reach out, because again, if you have your own marketer, then that's cool too. But what I wanted to talk about today is, the first part is working on your business. Why am I saying marketing is an investment? Also, which is why we're going to go into part 2, working in your business. I'm going to break that down too, of what you should be doing in your business. So in your business, and for those that don't know the difference, so on your business means you are not in the weeds and the minutia of doing the day-to-day activities, even though I know you wear 15 to 20 different hats. I do too, right? But when you're working on your business, you're focusing on the high-level operational stuff. Sometimes, now for me, This is sometimes it's client work, but it's mainly how I can improve my value proposition. How can I improve my services? How can I improve the ability for me to get client lead, customer acquisition in an easier way? Now, that's also, that's the top piece of doing the sales and the marketing. On the operational side, I'm thinking how I can improve my consulting, my marketing, from my research to my delivery to my execution. I want to make sure I'm also staying up with the current trends, what algorithms have changed, all things that make me a better consultant, a marketer, a web developer, a delegator, and also a business owner. That's working on my business. And in order for me to do that, the investment in that is when I have my team, here's where I can help them be part of the team. I can help them feel like they are in the team. I can help them feel like they're even though I don't have any employees. So when we're talking about, are you not marketing correctly? Here's where you like, and this is something that I've learned. I've learned that I don't want people to say like, okay, well, that's not marketing. It is. If you haven't given your employees or the people you're working with the opportunity to get excited about contributing, or even at the very least having buy-in on what you're doing, well, then they're not going to help you get to that next level. And that next level, it could be dollar amount, it could be a size, it could be a certain contract, but you need to have them believe, right? I say even buy in, because you at least need buy-in. But if you're not creating the systems that allow them to give them the confidence or allow them to believe that this is the next big, great thing, it's not going to work out. So on your business, the return on investment, the ROI, is that you're getting your team and you to continue to produce a high level, high quality, high engaging product, service, and delivery and company. So we are developing in this work that we're working on the business, an opportunity for people to both grow and learn while delivering an awesome product. I think too much of the time, oh man, and I'm trying to, I'm going to talk about something that I went through in a company that I was at not too long ago, and I would hear about and read about bad leadership. I would say a company like Sears, they said for years and years and years, Sears made bad leadership decisions. They relied too much on their old products or old methods, with the Sears catalog, or they relied too much on their Sears card, which is the financial piece, as they were doing the capital stuff. But I kept hearing from a couple of different people, and there were also people that wrote about it. They just had bad leadership. Well, okay, when you have bad leadership, that is a seed that gets planted, and it's kind of like when you say you have one bad apple spoils a whole bunch, or anything that starts getting mold on it. It goes through the whole entire bundle or grouping that it's in before you start seeing mold on it, right? Well, in this organization that had very bad leadership, no one believed in the product like it used to. They believed in the product in principle, but they didn't believe in the product that they were serving because there was bad leadership. And the bad leadership was more important for people to talk about than getting the product better. And it was frustrating because there was no reason for the product to be taking hits and lumps and bruises and scrapes and bleeding. We couldn't stop the bleeding because the focus was on bad leadership. And that is because our person did not know what the heck they were doing. So if you're not understanding the dynamics of your company and you're not working on those things that are some deficiencies, the deficits, it's taking in water. If you can't stop that, well, the product that you're offering no longer is a thing that's getting promoted out there to the world or even internally because you have bad leadership. So in this organization, we were okay with being mediocre. We had no other idea how to set a standard to be exemplary, to be excellent, to be phenomenal, to be world class, to be the best. I was frustrated with, like, this is what you all think, like, this is where we should be at. Like, no, I don't think so. Like, this is frustrating. We are better than this. If you don't think we're better than this, well, then then look, obviously I need to kick rocks. I need to say deuces, which I did. And again, I'm not trying to drop names here, but that is the hard part of where if you don't have buy-in, people, you won't have an entity, you won't have a company. And for big companies like the Sears, the Toys R Us, it's one thing when you have a lot of capital to work with, but we are in a different economy, people. We are doing different things. So when those big companies collapse, that changes the whole trajectory. And this recently, from the pandemic to all these other things that happened in the last couple of years, y'all, that has exponentially changed the way the culture works. And so when I was talking about simplifying business, and I told you LinkedIn in the last episode was one of my main ways that I could get leads, or I should say earn leads, build relationships, is because I'm getting to the point where I can work on my leadership, I can work on my team, I can work on my product, I can work on making sure that what I'm giving out there, it is successful. So then my team, which are not employees, they're other business owners, they're other subcontractors, they feel good and comfortable because we want to be around things that make sense, that things that work, and things that are going to give us that I don't know how else to say, that that feeling of where you're doing what you're supposed to do. You can call that an affirmation, you can call that a hunch, you can call that the gut feeling, but it's that, like, yeah, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. And I wanted to mention that because I think right now we're going through from the housing market, we're going through some times, y'all, from the housing market. No, I won't say that. I don't want to say the housing market issue, the war issue, our infrastructure when it comes to, like, at least in Portland, our downtown is abysmal. It's nothing like it used to be. Someone said, like, it's the new Detroit, and I believe that. Portland is not the way it used to be, and so this is coming back to the old, it could be a paradigm where some people think it is the best strategy to use come to me, as in I'm in the brick and mortar, we're going to use foot traffic rather than use clicks, rather than use the digital, understanding that there is traditional marketing, but there is also digital marketing. As a leader, you are responsible of putting those systems into place to where both your sales and marketing is in great ebb and flow that works well with your operations as a well-oiled machine, so that when you are working on your business, you're getting a return on your time. And I can say, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as a marketing leader, as anyone in business to do business, you need to get a return on your time and all the work and sweat equity you put into your company. Why put in this work and not get anything back from it? So this is why there's a part 2, okay? Because it starts with the mindset. And if you don't have that mindset, and that mindset also requires you to be humble, man, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see some of my stuff, or stay on LinkedIn. You'll see I'll talk about my struggle as a golfer. I hate to lose, but losing teaches me how to get better. And that's the same type of mindset you need to have when it comes to your business. Of if you're not where you want to be, set the goal, set the standard, and then figure out how to get there without also making yourself feel bad. You don't know what you don't know, on top of what you don't know, what you think you should know. How are those other people operating in that space? Well, it took them to be in the right place by talking to the right people, and they only got there by investing in themselves to say, I want to be at this level. They just didn't fall from the sky and say, hey, come join me. So I've had too many conversations where folks will say, I'm here, I put up a website, but people are not coming to me. I'm not selling anything. No, we are beyond that stage where you can just put something up and people are going to flock to you, even an ad. Just because you get to the top page on Google because you have an ad doesn't mean people are going to click on it. You still have to put in work. So this is where the next episode, part 2 of working in your business, is really important. And so I'm going to continue to use LinkedIn as an example, but that example I use as a bad leader in that organization that people were only doing mediocre, that mediocrity set into the culture, and no one was trying to get rid of that. I think we I would say I think folks try to what they did was try to add new things so they can get rid of the old things, but the old things are still there and the new things are in conflict with the old things because no one wants to believe that we can do the new things because that mindset was never changed because everything that was talked about and promoted was all about just being status quo because we are the brick and mortar spot, so you should come to it. And what we say is the truth, and you don't believe anything else. And that's not the case. We are no longer in that day of you go to that place and they are the authority. We now have devices. We now have the internet. We now have other places where we can get this information. So when you're working on the business, this is where the marketing piece is an investment to ensure you empower your other people. You give them the voice, but you give them the confidence, and you gel as a team so that you know you're putting out the best product, you're putting out the best service, your value proposition is on top, your sales and marketing is on point, and your operations is in sync as a well-oiled machine because now you are dominating at a new level, at a new space. Oh, man, that new space and that mindset, man, you get that return on that, and it's, especially when I left that organization, man, that was a huge weight that was taken off my shoulders because working in that environment was just so toxic, not only to my mindset, but to my health. And the people around me, that was the main thing that we talked about was that what was promoted. It was not about getting better. It wasn't about being world class or number one, being the best, doing excellence. This is what happens when you fail to work on the business, but working on the business starts with you. That's why it's an investment of making sure you putting your whatever the issue may be of what you feel is lacking in your company. This is what you need to work on. Last thing I'll say, because I went a little bit longer, I'll try to keep this at 15 minutes. I had a student come to me and say, like, Professor Webster, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, what are you talking about how I do it? Like, you have a family, you teach full time, you have a company full time. I know you have kids, and I see you doing other things like you're on boards. I don't understand how you have time for it. I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. This is extremely hard, but you have to surround yourself with the right people, and you're not doing that. You have to put yourself in the right environment. You're not doing that. You're so excited and focused of working in your business, you're failing to work on your business. And of course, I'm getting the head nods, and this person was getting it, but were still lost to take themselves out of it and apply it. And it's because working in the business is fun, right? When you love what you do, and this is where I'm going to end so I can start on part 2, all right? When you love what you do, when you absolutely love what you do, you don't want to stop. And this is where, when you're working on the business, you want to keep everything that you love at the center because that's your why. And if you're not feeding your why, well, then, of course, you're not going to do anything mediocre. But that means you got to be impassioned. Some people may call you crazy. That's all you do. Like, I'm called bougie. I'm like, yeah, I am bougie. But it's also because I love what I do. I like being at a certain level. I don't like being, what TLC said, a scrub, right? So these are things that at a level, at some point in time, you have to just draw that line in the sand or just say, hey, look, I can't do that no more. As my students, as they were trying to figure out, because they, as that student was coming to me, I was just like, man, you close, you're really close, but this is where you have to take that time to get out of the minutia and focus on what's going to work for the business. And this also comes with your vision for you in your company, because even though you kind of put them as the same, they're different. Your company will have to go away, just like at some point in time we will die. Well, what plans do you have for yourself when you're done working, on the business, not just in your business, because you can work in the business forever, right? But working on your business is something you can't do, because that's work. That's work. So it's one thing that I wanted to make sure that I talk about as entrepreneurs, because I know I have a lot of entrepreneurs listening, is to focus on the investment of working on your business for that efficacy and for that thing that people get really excited about, which is why it's good to be around other folks that do the same thing as you do, because that's man, I don't want to keep going, but be around those right people, because it's going to take you a long ways, and that long ways will give you the opportunity to have peace, and you can sleep at night. Or even if you're going through a sleepless night because you got a lot of stuff to do, it's going to fuel you, because what you're doing, you're on par, or excuse me, on point of going in the direction, because we know this journey is not for everyone, and it is certainly not easy, which is why I say, hey, be you. Don't try to do stuff that's not for you. Don't compare yourself to others, right? Because when you're comparing, who said the comparison is a thief of joy? Be you. Do no, absolute. Oh my gosh, please do what you believe is best for you. Don't do what someone else told you to do, or you trying to copy that because you see it work for them. Do what you believe is best for you, that you feel comfortable with, so that you can scale that. And when you are doing that and scale, because it's like lying. In order to keep lying, you got to tell another lie, then tell another lie, tell another lie. And you're like, oh, shoot, what's the truth? Well, it's with business, the scalability of doing what's best for you and how you do it. You can't copy other people's success. And it's not, I can't, what people have done, White and Kennedy, what they did for Nike. I don't have another partner, for one. And two, there's not going to be another Nike in my lifetime. Now, my age, I might find someone. Yeah, I can find someone. I can do something, but Nike is its own phenomenon. So be careful when you want to compare yourself and not be authentically you, because that shows up in your business and comes back again to not having good leadership. You want to have the leadership that people believe in, that buy into, support it, they're on board, and they're excited about it. So y'all, I wish you nothing but the best. Let's go to part 2. So for those listening, hey, make sure you tune in next week. I wish you all the best. Be you, dream big, don't settle. You take care. I'll see you next time.